Hey YouTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I am just talking about my thoughts of the Enola Holmes movie that came out on Netflix. This is kind of just an extra video, really low-key. I'm outside, it's super bright. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a car, get to the side of the road! I am just outside with my kids. We're going on a walk on what we call the new road. It's like a road that they built recently that kind of connects. It starts right in front of our house and then goes through around to the, like kind of curves around instead of going straight. And there's no houses on it yet. It's kind of become like the walking park of our neighborhood. Everybody rides bikes and goes on walks on it and stuff because there's not as much traffic and no houses and stuff. And so I'm just on a walk with my kids. So if you hear them in the background, they are right here with me. So Enola Holmes, I had read that I think last year, it might have been the year before I read Enola Holmes, just the first book. If you don't know, it's a middle grade mystery book about a girl who is Sherlock Holmes' younger sister, and her name is like a word game. If you spell it backwards, it's alone. When I read the book, I remember liking it, but not loving it. I came away from it just kind of feeling like it was a fun idea, it was an interesting book, but it's so bright right now. So I had to keep stopping because my kids are being loud and needy and stuff, but ironically it's the older two that need the most attention. Riley's just happy to be on a walk. But I just didn't feel that Enola Holmes was clever. I was told that a lot, and I could tell that they, in some spots when they were trying to show it, but I just didn't feel like she was clever enough to outsmart grown-up Sherlock Holmes, if that makes sense. And so I never actually read any more of the series. And then the movie came out on Netflix. I thought it was a TV show because it's a book series, and so I was like, oh, they made a TV show of this book series that I read the first book of, you know? And my husband and I really like to watch TV shows together. We're not as much movie people as TV show people. We really like detective type shows, you know, like Castle and Psych and Bones and stuff like that. And so we like to watch stuff like that together, but it's kind of hard to find stuff that is both interesting to us and also not too dark / is clean enough for us. Don't touch that, yucky. Here, turn around, we'll start walking home. Okay, so now I got her. We're walking the other way, and so the sun's a lot better because I am facing away from it. So anyways, when I saw it on Netflix, I was interested because it seemed like the kind of show that my husband and I might like, depending on how well done it was. So I suggested we watch it together, and we're like, okay. Well, then I was looking at it, and I realized it was a movie, and it was over 2 hours long. And I was like, dang it. And I was also wondering how they turned the first book into a 2-hour movie. So we decided to watch the movie anyways, even though we're not really movie people, just to try it. And we're like, if we don't like it, we can just turn it off. One of the things that I didn't remember from the book is that, so in the book, she turned 16, and on her 16th birthday, her mom disappears. And there's the plot line of her trying to find her mom. And then there's like this other plot line of this other mystery that she's trying to solve that was in the newspaper. And I don't remember why she was trying to solve it in the book. They kind of changed some things in the movie, and I thought some of the changes were good. So they leave the plot line of her mom unresolved, I think, in the first book. Part of the problem is I have a hard time remembering what happened in the first book, so I can't remember the differences as well. Actually makes me want to reread the first book and then finish the series just to see the differences with the movie. Anyways, the movie I thought was a really well done movie. The actors that they got were good. Enola is one of the girls from Stranger Things. I've never actually watched Stranger Things, but my husband has. And she shaves her head for the first 2 seasons, and then in the 3rd season she has like longer hair. She has longer hair in this one, of course. And then the actor for Sherlock Holmes was actually the actor for Superman, and so it's kind of funny. And her mom was Bellatrix Lestrange in Harry Potter, so that was kind of weird because I actually haven't really seen anything else with her as an actor in it, so it's definitely weird. But they did a good job. Like, I thought that the actual filming of it and stuff was really well done, and the actors were good. The one thing was that I think it's because they were trying to like kind of wrap it up in one movie more than a series. I don't know if they're going to do a second movie, but they did wrap it up really well. I don't remember if it wraps up that well in the first book, but they did change things. And I think because of that, the pacing was off. Like, it was a 2-hour movie, but during a 2-hour movie, you don't want to be thinking, you know, oh, this movie's long. You want it to be over and be like, really? That was 2 hours? But the writing, especially the beginning, it was like, it like didn't follow the like a good story structure, it felt like. So then it was kind of like the beginning dragged a little bit, and then I don't even know what the middle of the movie was. The second half picked up for me and was more interesting. One of the changes that I liked, in the first book she doesn't find there's like a little boy, I shouldn't say little, there's a boy who runs away, and in the first book that's the other mystery that she's trying to solve besides her mom missing. In the book she doesn't find him until the very end, and then she figures out where he is before Sherlock Holmes does. And in this one she actually meets him like right away after she runs away, and I thought that was a good choice because it let them develop like their friendship, and also made it so that Enola wasn't just alone the whole time. And because I think that can be kind of hard, especially in a movie but also in a book. It can be hard when the main character is just alone with their thoughts. A lot of conflict and funny moments and touching moments happen as the characters interact with other people, especially when they're kind of opposites. And Enola and the boy that she finds are definitely like opposites in a lot of ways, and so there's a lot of really good like conflict between them as they have their conversations. Yeah, so I liked that. There was kind of a cool plot twist at the end that I thought they did a good job with. There were some really creepy moments. It was a good movie, especially the second half, and the ending was good. And I did really like the friendship between Enola and the boy. I can't remember his name. It was kind of obnoxious because they called him the Duke of blah 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 blah, and they made it kind of obnoxious. There were some things I didn't like about it though. The first thing was that they changed Sherlock's character a little bit. Because he has a sister, it like changed his character to where he was more emotional and caring towards her, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they didn't give us a lot of moments in the movie when we actually saw his character being like how he was. And then that combined with the actor that they picked, the actor was like, he was like handsome in like a Prince Charming kind of way, and it just didn't fit Sherlock Holmes for me. Like, I didn't like the actor that they picked for him because of his looks. And then there was only one scene that I really remember clearly where I was like, yeah, that's definitely Sherlock Holmes, and that's at the very end. He goes into the police station because he solved the mystery, and he goes in and he acts just very Sherlock Holmesy with the other people, but then the rest of the time he was like with Enola, and I didn't like that. And then the other thing I didn't like was the way that they changed Mycroft's character. I don't remember him being like this in the book as much, but they really played up the fact that Mycroft was Enola's new caregiver, and they just made him like, first of all, they said that he wasn't as clever as Sherlock Holmes and stuff, which is not true in the books. I'm currently reading all of the books and the short stories, and Mycroft is basically just like Sherlock Holmes and just as smart. He just chooses to work for the government instead of doing detective work. Yeah, so I really didn't like the change in his character, and then because they changed his character, it like changed the way that Sherlock would interact with him compared to like the books, and I didn't like that either. And then the final thing that I didn't like is that they really had a strong agenda for like women's rights. And it's not that I mind agendas, like all books have agendas, and this one was a good one, right? Like that women should have rights and be able to have choice and stuff, and that's a great agenda. It's just that they would really pound it in, and that was kind of annoying. And then they also, the other thing that they would do is anytime someone wasn't letting them have their rights or whatever, they would really straw man it and make them just seem totally ridiculous, and that was annoying too. But yeah, those were basically the two things that I didn't love about the movie. but I did have fun watching it, and it made me want to read the book. I think there's like 6 books in the series, but maybe there's more. I don't actually know. But if I were to go back and read it, I would have to reread the first one again, so maybe I will wait until my kids are a little bit older. Like if Ashton was like 8 or something, then I could read the books with her, and then maybe we could even watch the movie together. I'm trying to decide if it'd be too scary for her, because there are some really scary parts. Like creepy scary, and there's also a little bit of violence in it. I'm not really sure it's a good one for kids, which is interesting because it was a middle grade book. But they were trying to sell it as like they were really trying to sell the Sherlock aspect. The other thing that was really interesting to me was to read about the lawsuit that's going on with it, because let's go, Riley. Let's go back home. We're almost home again. We just went on kind of a short little walk. So the lawsuit with it is the people who inherited Arthur Conan Doyle's royalty rights and stuff. So it was published more than 90 years ago, so it should be in the public domain. But one of the short story collections was published after that. And so they were trying to argue before, this was like a few years ago, they were trying to argue that Sherlock as a character shouldn't be public domain because some of the short stories were after, but some judge called bogus on that, which I'm glad. Anyways, we're home now. But the lawsuit, so it's not in public domain except for the last short story collection. So you can't use like specifics of the short stories that were published, the last ones that were published or whatever. So what they're claiming is that the Sherlock in Enola Holmes is more emotional, which he is, and that Sherlock before the last short story collection wasn't that way, and he is in the last one, and so they're suing them because they are saying it infringes on their copyright. And I think it's total bogus. I think it's just a money grab. Honestly, it makes me kind of mad. I really hope that whoever handles the lawsuit is able to call bogus on it, because like literally if it was published so long ago, and also like reading the novels and short stories, like yeah, Sherlock isn't as emotional at first in some of them, or like at times, but he actually is a lot more emotional in all of the books and short stories than he is in most of the TV and movie remakes and stuff. I just have to make sure Riley's okay. There were just cars, and someone's backing up at the neighbors. I just wanted to make sure Riley was here. So yeah, so the lawsuit was interesting to me, and the movie was pretty good, and I think that both the book and the movie are worth a read and a watch, and yeah, I thought they were pretty good, even though there were some things I didn't love about it. So yeah. Have you read the book or seen the movie? Let me know in the comments below, or just let me know what your favorite Sherlock Holmes book or remake or whatever is down in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for lots of writing and bookish content. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.